So much Warhammer. All right, welcome to the episode 195 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers. If I could remember how to talk correctly, this would go so much easier. But joining me as I stumble through my words, we have Chase.
G'day.
And Steven.
They're good.
Hey. Oh,
Jinkies.
Man. Right. Just throwing that in there randomly somewhere. Finally finished up my 3 weeks of travel. So that hopefully everything will kind of smooth out from this point and we can go on. But we have a lighter show this week with some interesting news to talk about, including some Warhammer stuff that I know Chase is excited to speak about, and a whole bunch of other things. So before we get into that, let's jump into what we've been doing. And Steven, let's start with you, man. What you been doing?
Well, I tried to do a new thing this week, and that was play ZZZ.
I've been trying to get you into it.
New character came out, so it's I'm this close to spending money again. So here it comes. Other than that, I've been really addicted to Ball X Pit Switch 2 edition. I did find out some stuff behind the scenes of that, where it's the first game where Devolver Digital said, "Could you develop it a little bit longer? Because we can't fit you in the release schedule just yet." So he's like, "Okay." So he went back there and tweaked it. Up to 1,000 balls could be on screen at one time, except for the Switch 1 version can't do that. But the rest can.
I still need to kind of see what this game is actually about, because I don't think it's really clicked with me yet.
But it's like Vampire Survivors, where you're just like, one more. And because it mixes aspects of ActRaiser, where whenever you're done with a stage, you go back and you build your town to harvest more materials and build up levels and stuff. It's just like, it's addicting because it's doing stuff even when you're not playing your town. So when you go back to it, it'll be like, "Oh, you harvested some stuff while you were away." I'm like, "Oh, sweet."
Nice.
Because of the nostalgia of it, I had to pull the plug, not pull the plug, but
You're trying to kill it?
what do you call it? Just go ahead and get Double Dragon Revive.
Pull the trigger.
Switch. Pull the trigger. There you go.
Either way, it sounds like you're putting it down. Like something is wrong with it.
Collectors, because it came with 3 box arts that had the old Double Dragon art on it, 1, 2, and 3. And it had the soundtrack, which is basically just remixed music. So I was like, okay, it's not too bad right now. The graphics are like Contra Hardcore, if you remember how kind of gritty those looked.
Right.
The only appeal that I'm seeing right now is it's got that Batman Returns SNES gimmick where you can hit people into the background and they like go into garbage cans or through a fence or into a car window. So I was like, all right, that's neat. I tried a couple demos. Nuclear Gladiators 3000. All it is a if Broforce made Vampire Survivors, that's all it is. The Good Old Days, which was actually really good because it was kind of like a pixel-oriented Metroidvania, but you have to find your other people to get more abilities. And basically almost everything you do gives you money, and that money is basically pay off your debts. And it is a time limit, but because it's one of those roguelikes again, it's meant to be played multiple times. Like Children of Morta, you can keep dying and coming back, and you get more stuff. So it's expecting you not to pay it off the first time around, because you'll die a lot. And lastly, because I was really excited to play it, I don't know how far I am into it. I got past at least one of the scary creatures, but I've been playing By Sweet Carol. Which
I've been trying it. It has not clicked with me yet. I tried it.
It starts like quite the Disney movie with its music and everything, and I was like, geez. It's got some weird artifacting later on darker stages that I've noticed that where it's just not dark enough or something. But it's definitely living up to what I thought, because I've had to do a lot of hiding. You have to hold your breath sometimes. Just to do these different puzzles to get through the levels. And it is kind of like a point and click as well, because you're collecting stuff. So it does remind me of Clock Tower. Probably not exactly, because it's not pseudo 3D. It's just all hand animated, which is awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I tried that one. I wasn't going to talk about it on mine because I didn't play it that much. I tried it during my flight, which is probably not the best way to play it. The opening felt a little rough. Like it just was not really clicking with me. I ended up playing some other stuff, but I'm going to give it a shot. Like I have it because you talked me into buying it last time and I found it and was like, all right.
Yeah, it's heavy handed in the beginning with speech because it's just trying to set you up.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Willy Beamish like, where it's just so much talking because those birds and stuff are trying to teach you how's the best way to teach you a tutorial while still keeping it a story.
I got through that, and then I was going through, like, you get through the water, you're going through the caves, trying to climb and do stuff, and I think that's where I got stuck for a little bit and was just like, okay, I'll try something else because it's just I'm on the plane, like, I don't really want to play this right now.
Yeah, because that's the prologue, and then you'll get to chapter 1. So
okay, so that's why I wondered if I hadn't really clicked with it yet on that part. So I'll continue. I have it. So
yeah.
All right, Chase, what about you? What you been doing?
Yeah, so I've been playing. I just finished the Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 2 Chaos Rising expansion, and now I'm on to basically what was the final expansion, kind of toward the, so to speak, Act 3 of the story, which is Dawn of War 2 Retribution. It's a bit weird. It just feels like, because it's technically a standalone expansion, but like they kind of just act like some things that have happened in like Act 1 and 2 just all of a sudden didn't. It's just, so I don't really know why they decided to do what they did, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's Dawn of War 2. I'm enjoying it. Still doing like the daily missions and the weekly stuff on Space Marine 2. Just for something to do. And then Shanoa and I actually just recently picked up a game called War Tales. It's on Game Pass, and it's you can play it for free till I think like November 11th on Steam. And it's 2-player co-op. It's basically like it's turn-based strategy game, but basically you play as kind of like a group of mercenaries, kind of like in like a medieval like esque fantasy setting, and you and basically you just like you're completing missions to earn money, and it's actually like the combat's pretty decent. We're enjoying it. We're probably mostly enjoying it because of the co-op aspect, but it is a good game. It's fun.
Nice. So as for me, of course, I talked about before, but I've been playing a bunch of Pokemon Legends ZA, and I'm still really enjoying it. Like during my trips, I would pick it up and go through, explore, ranking up through the tournaments at night while trying to continue the story, messing with the stuff needed to do for like mega evolutions, and having fun hunting down and collecting particular Pokemon, finding like a lot of little side missions to trade for different region type Pokemon, which is kind of nice. Like I just got on a little Slowpoke, which of course you can evolve that and have it look different, which that's the only way to get it. And you can do that for a few other Pokemon that you find. So even though some people are complaining it's limited to one city, there's still a lot of variety and stuff you can get. I am getting really freaking tired of seeing Weedles everywhere though. Can I just get a Butterfree just once? Like, come on, like a Caterpie, something. Not just the damn Weedle. Seems like it's infested with just those. But I'm still having fun with it. I need to trade some Pokemon with one of my coworkers, because he needs to get a few of them and I need to get some of mine evolved. So it has reached that point where we're trading with friends. Next up, I got Hyrule's Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. After a bit of a whole shenanigan, we'll say, because I came back the day the game launched from my trip to Arizona, and I was like, cool, I made it back in time, pick up my daughter, and I'm heading home. I can stop by GameStop. I already had the game and the Metroid Amiibos paid off. I was like, all right, let me go ahead and get it. And I get there, and the guy's like, yeah, we don't have it. Apparently they didn't send it to us, and we don't know when we're getting it. Goes for the Amiibos as well. So out of frustration, I was like, oh, the heck with it. I just went home. My youngest son, who was at work at a major retailer as well, they had a copy, so he picked it up, and I ended up paying him back for that. So I did get to play it. And come to find out, GameStop had the damn game there. He just didn't look in the right drawer, which sucks. I could have just had
Or
it.
his computer to see if they had stock.
Right. He just assumed he's already told it wasn't there, so he just didn't. And it's like, whatever. I have the game, and I've been playing it for about 2.5, 3 hours. Now that we know with the Nintendo app exactly how long I've been playing it. And I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. I've kind of always liked, the Hyrule Warriors titles, but this one does run like almost pretty much almost 60 FPS for everything, which is nice and smooth. The game looks great. There are so many more enemies on the screen than I'm used to seeing on a lot of the Nintendo versions of these things. I've been able to play with like 4 or 5 different characters so far, and I like the variety between them for how they, some of the characters use a lot of the Zonai equipment, including like their dash, like hops up on one of those little unicycles you could make in Tears of the Kingdom, and that's how you're running around. And she'll call up like catapults and like these other little ball mechanics and stuff. It's kind of creative to see all those things get constructed through that. There's a character that is basically the Link fill-in character. Like he kind of looks like he's based on Link, but he can't be Link because you're in the past. Link is not there. Yeah, it's Lonk.
Lonk.
But it's a construct, and he's one of the main characters in the game. You see very early. It's him and one of the little plant guys together, and he is a lot of fun to play. I'm hoping I get to use him more because the fact that he is kind of a robot lets you do all kinds of crazy stuff. But he's pretty much
not a
Link.
tired formula that's outlived its welcome. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that at the big question. That review is still weird. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm happy to play it. I want to try out some of the split screen because some people are complaining like, oh, it just full split screen, but it's only 30 FPS. I'm like, yeah, it's rendering it twice. Calm down. Like, you'll survive. It's couch co-op. You're sitting there together. You can play it system to system multiplayer, and it's 60 FPS there because the system's not having to render it twice. Who would have thought it? But I'm liking it, and I'm looking forward to talking with you guys about this more as we go along, because I know, Chase, you and I have talked about this before, because like you're really big into the Dynasty Warriors games, and I've tried to get into them some, but I've always kind of enjoyed like the side titles a little bit more, Gundam and the Hyrule Warriors.
This is also the first one that they're saying like it's actual canon, so you should play it.
Which has been really good. But you can tell the difference. Like this one was designed for Switch 2 and only Switch 2. And it makes a big difference. Like it is very impressive for how it looks, how it runs. I think the biggest knock most people have is like, oh, the cinematics aren't real time and they're only at 30 FPS. I'm like, it's a video. I don't care. Like, sure, you can kind of tell the resolution might drop a little bit or something.
That's 2 out of 10 now. I lost
Either way, I'm probably going to skip most of the story stuff anyways, just to get into the game, but I'm really enjoying it. So that's always fun. I finally jumped into Power Wash Simulator 2 after purchasing it like 2 weeks ago. The game is still a lot of fun to play. I still find it baffling that most of the versions, especially for Switch, don't have the capability for motion controls, because that's the only way I like to play it on Steam Deck is with those motion controls. So this is the first time I've only played it on PC with a mouse, because I'm just like, nope, need the freedom of movement. I have to do it. Very pretty water. I'll give them that. Like, they made the water look better.
Yeah, there's still, I don't know when the patch is coming, but there's connectivity issues too. Trying to join games and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to message you guys and see if anyone else had gotten it to try some of the co-op or multiplayer, but I'm just going through a few of the missions. They're still creative and funny, which I really like. They tie back into the first game where like you have this giant energy beam going across the sky that you had triggered from this giant statue you cleaned that keeps the volcano from erupting. And one of the levels you look up and you can see the beam still, and you're just like, oh, okay. And then it starts flickering, it goes out, and you start getting text messages going, what the hell happened? Why did the beam go out?
I just like trying to find the 3 cats in every level and the gnome.
Wait, what? I know there's the 3 cats in your base, which I got the achievement for petting them all.
Those 3 cats appear in every single level. They're somewhere, always.
Really?
Sometimes you can't pet them. Sometimes, most of the time, you can. And the gnome is always somewhere, not always accessible, but he's always somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And the glitch right now is whoever's not the host, if you pick up an object, it basically soft locks your game, which is a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem because there's ladders and other stuff you have to do.
Ladders are okay, but Chris picked up a soccer ball and couldn't drop it, and he picked up the gnome once and he couldn't drop it, and he had to quit out and come back. And eventually wouldn't allow him to come back, so I had to restart my game. Like, not
Ooh.
all the levels, I just had to be like, exit, come back in, re-invite. And I was
Gotcha.
just like, why is it soft locking when the second player picks up something that's not a ladder?
Well, if they sort that out, I would love to actually join in and play with you guys because it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun to do that. One of my favorite improvements so far, other than the sprayers and the different options and everything are a little crazy.
Free soap.
Free soap, that's fun. The changes they did to the scaffolding, simply adding a ladder on the outsides, you can just go straight to the top, is just chef's kiss. Like, it was so much better to do that. Because I would get so tired of run up and go loop around, run up again, loop around.
Yeah, I love also that the soap is not material specific. It's an everything soap.
Yes, I find myself
wood,
for a
metal,
lot of it
whatever
just
you want, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, good.
That was because that led to me never using it in the first game. I would just be like, oh, to hell with this. I'll just change to another sprayer or work with that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even mess with it.
That's one of my nitpicks is now they because they made it easier, they force you to. There's things that I've put on like the smallest power washer on the strongest strength, and it won't clean it because you have to use soap. And I'm like,
Well, the other thing I like about it is if you are, like, say you're having trouble finding those little spots that are here and there, like you used to find in the first game, like, oh, I've got all this done, but there's some little thing missing. If you spray soap around an area, it will like go away very quickly from anywhere that's clean and only stay on what's dirty. And then you could just spray it down with water and it helps you find those
yeah.
little
So soap helps
nitpicks.
find stuff like that, and then there's a target too that says you should be over here, not over there.
Yeah, that's been a lot help. That's been very helpful too. I've only done like I think four or five levels so far. I think the last one I did was one of like the 2-story house with that little setup, which I think is where the beam was at. I've done the campsite, the van. I find it funny when you add furniture in your house, you have to go and clean the furniture. Like it's all covered in mud. Like, where did you find this furniture, in a dump? But you clean that and then you can put it anywhere in your base that you want. So yeah, I've been quite happy with that one. And I'm glad. I don't know if it's still going on, but if you had the first game, they would give you like a 10% off loyalty discount if you bought it on like Steam or something. So check that out. Last game I've been playing a lot that's been incredibly addictive is Vampire Survivors, which
Dangerous.
yeah. My friend John over at GameStop was the one that informed me, because I was like, man, I wish I could have this on my Switch or my Switch 2, because I have it on Steam, but I don't want to carry my Steam Deck when I travel. But I don't want to start over again because I put so much time into it. And he was like, oh yeah, they updated it where you could just make an account, sign in, and move your save over. And I was like, immediately went home and bought the game on my Switch, carried it over. Now I'm going through like all the Castlevania stuff and going through the different levels. And I think, Steven, you had mentioned it before, like some of the more recent updates have made it where even the Switch 2 like will really hit that frame rate with so much stuff coming in.
Well,
I hit that a few times.
Series X, and it was having an issue on the when you hit the 30-minute mark on the Castlevania level because there's so much you can't even see the level.
Yeah, some of those are really weird. There's one character named John, ironically, that has this ability. He just throws a metal ball and it just bounces off things. And I've been trying to find a way to kind of get him going because it's such a useless ability at first. I'm like, what am I doing? But it runs great. I like having it on there. So now I did that a lot during the flight. I'd play something for a bit, switch over to that and just kind of run through it for a while. It's just a very mindless, fun little game to play. But glad to see at least it transferred over. So I think if I end up buying Balatro as a digital instead of my physical title, I will never put my Switch 2 down again. It's just gonna be
now
that.
Balatro's coming to Vampire Survivors. So there you go.
It's already in there, and I've already unlocked the main character and done the extra mission, so it's already there. I got that the day I bought it.
Then you can pre-order the Ben Star calendar that has 12 months of him dressed up as Balatro.
I saw something about that. I was like, what the hell?
All goes to charity.
Oh, okay. That's always fun. All right, enough about us. Let's talk more about us. Let's go to the group chat. So I know I've had a couple of pickups this week, Stephen. I believe you've had some as well. So But I think there's one that you and I both have that we can go ahead and start to show if you want to go and pick yours up. And that is Samus.
Or sorry, Viola.
Yeah, viola. I always want to say viola just because of the instrument, but
And then
I love how the size of these things, like that's a massive amiibo. And they're not super big. Like here's the one from Samus Returns. And if you actually take into account the difference of the base, they're about the same height. The shoulders are bigger on this one because the art style.
Battle each other. One's shooting and one's blocking.
But it's a lot bigger than the one from Dread. Like just the size of it. Of course, she's also kneeling, but pretty good size difference. I've been doing a lot of. Oh, go ahead.
Other than that, I've just been getting a lot of these.
I found 2 packs, and that's all I've ever found. I've never found another one.
I keep ordering them from Best Buy.
I need to just break down and do that. Mine never seems to have them in stock.
I am. These came today. The other 3 because you're only allowed to order 3 at a time and wait till they ship, and then you can order another 3. And I was like, "Come on, Best Buy! It's not Pokemon cards,
right?
It's not the Starbucks bear mug. It's like it's not crazy hard to get."
Oh God, I saw a woman yell at staff about that the other day.
But I'm pleased to say I'm only down to the last 10 cards in the set. But fuck,
I might just break down and buy doubles from you.
Yeah, because the doubles are, there's a market for them out there. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll eventually sell them when I complete my set. But I also need to get the last few remaining of my Animal Crossing set so I can be ready for the update. So.
Animal Crossing, I still have so many cards I have to get because nobody ever sells them anymore. They're hard to get a hold of.
I got lucky at the time they came out because that's when I worked at a game store. So I did Animal Crossing events where people would buy cards and I would trade with them. So I was like, chef's kiss. Okay.
Perfect. Very nice. So was that all you picked up this week?
And I got the GameStop holiday guide where they say everything's behind the counter and not available. Okay. That's about it.
Lord. Chase, did you have any pickups this week, or has it been kind of a chill out? I mean, you had that book you were showing off.
You had it in your hand.
Yeah, like what's the book, man? I thought that's what you were going to talk about. I was giving you an opening.
I've had this for a little bit, but I just actually got it out of the plastic and stuff. But
let's say it's new to us.
It's the codex for the Grey Knights, so it's actually pretty. Shows off like some of the minis and stuff.
That's nice art, though.
Yeah. So this is it's between this and Black Templars, which is going to be my starting army. But yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I know I can't send them to you, Jeremy, because you can't view them. But I've been sending Chase. Somebody's been sparkleizing and glitterizing their Space Marine miniatures and making cute Marines.
That is great.
What was that recent one I sent you? What was that creature?
Oh, it's called a if I'm correct, I believe it's a Killacan. It's an orc.
So the big guy they made cute too. So it's pink and it's got bows everywhere.
It's basically a giant orc mech. It's hilarious.
But yeah, somebody's just like account on TikTok that their whole thing is, I want to make all my Space Marines look really cute.
And that's the beauty of it. You can do that. Like that's great.
I was like, that's dedication. I was like,
somebody's put some work into it though. Like when it's fun, showed it to me. I was like, this took some work. Good on them.
I mean, it's better that way. Like you're supposed to be able to customize it. Like have your fun,
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to affect the game. Doesn't affect your target box or hitbox or anything. It's a damn board game. To go along with the Metroid stuff, I don't remember if I showed this previously, but I did get this absolutely lovely Metroid Prime art book that covers 1 through 3, the visual retrospective. Nice solid hardback, which is good. Gorgeous artwork inside, though. Like, just loving how this book looks. I've been flipping through it and kind of reading about all these games. A lot of the artwork I remember back from when Prime 1 was coming out. Of course, that was really early days of the internet. And I still have where I would like save some of the images that are like super low resolution, just like that's the best you could get at the time. And I love that I opened the book up and immediately one of the first pages is that artwork, but like super high resolution and clean. And I get to actually enjoy it as God intended Just
I wonder if there's going
yay.
to be add-on DLC for the book to add in for.
That'll just be a separate book you buy.
Maybe if you give it to Digital Eclipse, they'll do that though.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, which is hilarious. The other thing is during my trip, hit up some local toy stores and ended up buying 2 cases of these little plastic toys called Blockies, because they've been doing a lot of Transformer sets recently. And one of the ones, they're supposed to be blind box, but if you buy a whole case, you pretty much get that set. And they have a couple of them inside there, like, you know, you might have like 5 out of 144 or 1 out of 104, you know, whatever. Like they're really rare. But you'll always get the full set, but the ones that are variables might be different. So like I got out of this last set, the normal hot rod instead of the really shiny armor one, but I got the really rare Optimus Prime where he's like half of him's the gray dead version and the other side is like full metal and color. It's really cool. And you can change out his chest, which has got like a big spike stuck in it, like it did when he was dying in one of the shows. But part of why I wanted to get that one is they had this, which is such a really fun head of Unicron. And if you actually take it apart, it actually has the eyes inside, the skull face and everything. Like it's so many little details I love about it. And it even comes with a little mold of the ship that they were using in Transformers the movie. And I've got the rest of the set, everything in the other room, but these have been so much fun to get. Even when I was getting doubles and so forth, just collecting them individually, I would just give them to one of my coworkers' kids. So I'd be like, hey, you like Transformers? I'm going to help introduce you to a financially ruining hobby. Here's Transformers. Get into it and enjoy.
No, like, couldn't you just give them a noisy toy? No.
Yeah, it's either this or it's going to be Warhammer. Which way do you want to go broke?
Yeah, right.
But like I said, I'm really happy with the Blockies. If you check my Instagram, which is at Zenspath COM, I'll be starting to post more photos and things of these, some of my amiibos and everything, as I got my whole photography booth set back up for doing toy photography with my favorite little 40mm macro lens on my Nikon and working through those. I did some earlier today of these 2 Metroid amiibos that I finally got, along with the Donkey Kong and a few others. So I'll edit those and get them up later.
You need to take macro photos of the Switch Lite when you fixed it.
We still need to do that. Yes, it's still here. Well, around the holidays, I was thinking about trying to do that because I have like 16 days off straight at work. I just took so much vacation time to just be like, I don't want to go to work for the rest of the year. So as of, I think like December 20th, I'm just done for the year. Just like, whatever. I'll be back sometime early January. So we'll, because we got to do that. And we still have to do the Commodore 64 stuff, because we haven't done that. And I haven't even opened that box. I've waited because I was like, nope, I told Steven I would wait and we would do that together. And I have not done it yet. So I'm remembering. Let's jump into our other part of the group chat though. Lethal Company. We introduced Chase to this lovely game. Chase, I want to get your thoughts on how you've enjoyed it so far with the rest of us.
The game's great. Actually, it is. There's a lot of good laughs out of it. Definitely has that content warning vibe. Not sure which one I like more, but like my very first one that I ran was Swan while we were waiting for Jeremy.
Oh yeah,
Swan literally like the test run. He literally like walks into the hallway, and all of a sudden this bug shows up, and Swan's just like, "Oh yeah, watch out for!" And I was just like, can I get this off of him? Do I want to stay here? Is Swan gonna survive? Nope. He just dropped on the floor. I think I'm just gonna walk away now. I'll just get back on this ship and just hit the button.
I love the first match that we did where I joined you guys, because I was having to edit the show and I was getting that done before we play, which we do every Saturday after the recording. And one of those happened on my face, and I'm screaming, "Get it off! Get it off!" And I hear Chase in the background. Oh, I love how it muffles his voice when he's done. I'm like, dude, just get it off my face. You're just like, this is a nice attention to detail.
Chase is always in the right spot at the right time. Like when the ceiling smashed me and I was like, whoa, what was that? And then he saw me look up and get smashed and stuck to the ceiling like a s'mores.
Oh God.
Like, what the hell?
And I remember, all right, so that one specifically, Chase, you and I were just like, all right, stick to the left or go around it so it won't hit us. and we continue the mission because we both watched Steven just die. And we were running from something on the way back, completely forgot about that. And both of us were just immediately just smashed. And that was the end of the match. We're just like, whoops.
Yeah, that was, I think we weren't necessarily worried about being on the right or the left of the catwalk. We were more worried about survival, which that had been happening anyway.
Yeah, we just happened to stick on the same side and both died.
There was that one time that you guys almost got punked because that one thing swallowed me whole and kept me in its stomach.
Oh,
while it walked around, and you're like, Swan's still alive. We should go save him. I was like, please don't go save me. Please don't go save me.
Jeremy was like, I'm going back in there. I'm going to go get him. And then I saw Jeremy on the thing. He literally walked into the fire exit. I saw like a bunch of red dots come towards him. And then he just comes back. He's like, nah, fuck him. He's dead. Like, let's just get out of here.
Well, as soon as I walk in, there's like these worms coming at me. And I'm like, no. I just walk right back out the door. I was like, sorry, Steven.
I just learned to like scream before I die. So I'm like, oh shit. Then it's like,
but we don't know if you died because we don't always hear you because it's
then Chase is like, that's the last thing he said, so I think he's dead.
Yeah, I will reiterate again, do not play this on anything but the internal chat.
Yeah,
because if you use Discord or something, it breaks the game completely. You need to be where you can't hear each other at a distance. If someone dies, you can't talk to them. Like it's such a intricate part of how this and like content warning and all that works.
Yep.
So it's great that they do that, but so many of those missions were just so messed up with everything we were doing.
Jeremy almost got decapitated by a crazy zombie lady. Like that was quite interesting.
I had to look it up later because I was like, why is there this little girl looking at me screaming? And you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm like, it's right there.
Yeah, it was some Dead Space 3 moment.
I was taking pictures going like, it's right there. I can see it. And then all of a sudden it ran off at the wall. And I found out later that is apparently picking one person and hunting them. And I was like, oh, great. And it would have just shown up.
Sure, Jan, let's keep going.
Oh, man.
I tried with, what was it? We tried the radios where like I stayed in the ship to give you guys orders, like just kind of figure out what's going on, which was working pretty well.
Was working really well, actually.
Yeah, until I was like, there's a lot of shit coming. Never mind, you're all dead. Like it's just, I would just turn around, hit the button. All right, we're done with this level. We went through so many flashlights.
Lockpick worked great, but you have to wait 30 seconds for it to unlock a door. So if you're being chased by Death Note guy, who basically, if you look at him, he gets shy, but if you look at him too much, he gets pissed and comes after you.
Oh, I haven't run into that one yet.
You have to look at him, but not, and then look at him, but not, because if you just stare at him, he's just like, "What are you staring at?" So we had that.
Yeah, that happened to me. He was hiding around the corner.
He never got killed by the blob. There was the part that had all the hoarders.
Yeah,
and we thought it was fine until we found an item on the floor, and they thought that you guys were coming from my body, and they're like, "No, it's our body."
No. Well, I remember what happened. I walked in there. You were dead. And I saw there's a whole group of them sitting there. He's lost his shit when he heard me. I walked in. I was like, I'll find him. Your body's there. And one of them's holding a flashlight. And I was like, I wonder if I can take that flashlight back.
Just like shining it up in its face.
So I take the flashlight and just like, they get all mad and they raise their arms. They're like, I made a mistake. I'm running away. And I just get beat to death. And Chase is like, I'm out of here.
Oh my God. That was great.
When I first saw like there were like 4 of them, I was like, they're hoarders. Just leave them alone. And then apparently we walked near one of their hordes, and they're like, "That's our stuff." I'm like,
they pulled your body too, so I was trying to get your stuff back.
Because I killed Swan. Jeremy and I left. Then we come back in. I literally like go around the corner to look for Swan's body. I see it, and then it was like something out of a horror movie. One of those things like grabs him and just like pulls him down the hallway. And then I was like, it's around the hallway, and Jeremy's like, "Oh, I'll go get him." One of them's holding a flashlight, like shining it up at itself, like just for fun or whatever. Jeremy literally walks up to the bug with the flashlight, just takes it out of its hands, and then all of a sudden I hear Jeremy say, "Run!" This is like, oh no, this couldn't end well.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I could get it and run away. I was wrong. You cannot run away fast enough.
Jeremy also learned
angry and fast.
Jeremy also learned that when you sell to the company and you ring the bell, the timer can fluctuate.
Yeah, apparently. Jeez, that was brutal.
I killed Steven.
I was like, didn't even get money for it. Him here, and I was like, never mind.
Jeremy came back to us like, is Swan dead?
My bad. We'll be getting a lot more fun and entertainment out of that game. It's definitely great. There's the RV one you guys had me buy also. We haven't tried yet. So
Are we
I'm
there
curious.
yet?
Yeah, RV there yet. I'm curious to see how that goes. I don't know if that's what we're playing tonight or if we're just going to jump back into some more Lethal Company or whatever else. We have a whole smorgasbord of internet capable games on PC now. So
Next week, though,
Mhm.
starting November 10th, if you like quarter pushers, Racoin comes back on a demo on Steam.
Okay.
So if you need another reason to just get lost in something, it's Vampire Survivors meets Coin Pushers.
I've got enough stuff between Hyrule Warriors, Pokemon, Vampire Survivor, Balatro, and everything else that's on my freaking
Well,
Switch
these are
too.
those like one more stage type games like Ball Pit.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh God, yeah, there's some good ones. All right, let's jump into our news for this week. So starting off, speaking of Warhammer, Warhammer Survivors was announced for 2026, coming to PC. This is a standalone title that uses Ponkel's Vampire Survivor engine and premise, but features both Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar characters and enemies. And it's being developed by Arak Digital, which is the makers of Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. Chase, I was going to ask you, like, they had a list of characters, and I'm like, I don't know any of these. So I'm kind of hoping maybe you are familiar with any of them, or maybe you have a better chance of pronouncing them. So I'm going to let you say the names because there's enough evidence of Steven to say that, or to
don't
put
do
up that I
that.
can't say things. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay, so the characters are Malum Kaido, and that one is, I believe he's the main character in Bolt Gun, actually.
Okay.
So I believe, so that makes sense because it's Arak Digital.
So this is why we have Chase here.
Um, then the Cadian Shock Trooper Kozlowski. I'm not sure if he's a character of significance. He's probably appeared somewhere, maybe that I just haven't seen yet.
Because the Shock
Space,
Troopers, that's like the normal, like human looking
yeah,
guys in the suits, right? Yeah.
yeah, they're basically just the normal, everyday, like meat to the grinder guys in the Imperial Guard.
Ugh.
Um, let's see, Space Marine Intercessor Brother Luca. I think he's might be part of the Blood Angels chapter. I'd have to
Okay.
actually like look it up to verify, but um Neve Black Talon, Gotrek Gurnison, and then Stormcast Eternal Vanquisher. I can talk, I promise. Sharon Azarath.
I love the some of these names get so pompous.
so two characters I know will play as just because I can make fun of them as Luca because I can say no, Luca, no.
Yes, that's
And then the Vanquisher, I can be like Sharon, Sharon.
yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, that's it's a pretty healthy list to start with, and I'm sure they can add more as time goes
Oh
on.
yeah. Because like I like the fact that they're using the engine directly from Vampire Survivors, so the mechanics, the gameplay, and all that stuff is there. You know, just like in Vampire Survivors, you'd kill certain like little boss enemies that would show up every so often. You leave chests behind, which are all themed on chests you would find in Warhammer, which was a nice touch. And that would get you different weapons and things. And some of the ones they've listed, you're going to have like bolt guns, the Astartes, chainsword, whirlwind axes, and other stuff as well. So, I mean, if it's anywhere remotely to what Vampire Survivors is expanded to, we could see all kinds of things in this one.
You'll have the whole codex.
Probably. But it just, I don't know. Is it just, I want to get your thoughts on this, Chase, especially because you played so much. This feels like such a perfect fit because you're just
Yeah.
one dude versus an unending wave of things coming in and how crazy it gets. It just kind of feels right to me.
Yeah,
So,
I think if there's a few crossovers that Warhammer 40k actually fits with, and this is definitely one of them.
So I kind of wish this would have just been an add-on to Vampire Survivors, only because then you could mix it with so many other things. But I guess it kind of makes sense for it to be standalone.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm glad that they're using the tech, like they talked with them, they're working with them, instead of just trying to make their own copy of it. They're just like, no, you've already got this right. We're just going to use it to do so much ridiculousness.
Arok's doing quite well for themselves because
No kidding.
Bolt Gun did well. Then they've got this, and they're making Bolt Gun 2. So like they got steady work. So that's good. I'm glad to
And
see
Yeah,
that.
Bolt-Gun 1 is a good, what they call boomer shooter.
Yeah.
I love the art style because I love a good. It's almost like a late 90s, early 2000s 3D style where everything's super pixelated but 3D. And I just really like that look on a lot of titles. So it's one of the ones I've been trying to find. I know there's a physical copy of Bolt Gun out there somewhere. I'm trying to
VGP
find
has
it.
for
They
Switch.
do? Okay.
His only hope.
Well,
Well, they only released a physical for Switch for some reason. But I
Yeah.
recently bought that, and they restocked Mechanicus for Switch too. So not Switch 2, but Switch also. So I got both of those because I know Mechanicus is really good. So I was like, I'll have it on Steam and I'll have it on Switch.
nice.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
Yeah, I'm going to have trouble affording anything after this next one, though.
Yeah.
So Lego, which already we are hearing dollar signs there, has officially shown off the first full Star Trek set that they're releasing this November. And it's the Enterprise D, which we kind of had some leaks prior, but now we have official information, and holy crap, this is so much bigger than I thought it was.
Jeremy's
The-
wallet's already crying.
No, I played. Amanda's always complaining she can never figure out what to get me for my birthday and Christmas.
Oh,
So while I was traveling, John, my youngest, Orph, as we call him, Orpheus, he sent me a message about it, like the official announcement. I was like, hey, why don't you send that to your mom and just say birthday Christmas? And apparently she's going to try and get it. So that might be I don't even care that I'm going to know what it is because this is great.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
it's the last thing you mentioned is very important because they will not sell that separately.
Yes, and I really want to get this, but I didn't put the price on here as well because I want to go through all this and then tell you how much this thing's going to cost us. It's great. I know the number because, oh my God. The Enterprise D will be 3,600 pieces. That's a lot. Like the multiple foot tall Saturn V rocket is like only 1,960, and that thing is huge and detailed. So this is 3,600 pieces. It's almost 2 feet long. Like that is that's the length of the Batmobile from '89 I have, which is also like 2 feet long, which is huge. It's 10.5 inches tall with the stand. So it actually has a Lego stand you can build that you can display it on there. What I love though is that the saucer section can be removed. And it doesn't just pop off, it actually has like a key lock. But you remove the top of the main shuttle bay, and they have little tiny Lego shuttles that they did. And one of those shuttles is the lock you pull out, which lets you detach the saucer section, which is such a cute way to do that. And it also makes sense. The shuttle pod we'll talk about in a bit looks like that little single piece Lego that's supposed to be a shuttlecraft. And I was like, oh, I get why they use those now. But you also get the entire bridge crew. There's like 9 people. You get Captain Picard, who comes with an Earl Grey glass mug. You get Commander Riker with a Lego trombone, which that's just great. Lieutenant Worf comes with a phaser, and a lot of these you can spin their face, and like there's an angry Worf face and a surprised Worf face. Lieutenant Commander Data with Spot, so he gets his cat. It looked like they were joking, and his face was the same because there's no emotion. Until you realize one of them is normal face, the other one has an eyebrow raised like he's curious. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's inquisitive Data. It's such a subtle little joke, but I love that. Dr. Beverly Crusher with the medical tricorder, which was nice. Lieutenant Commander Geordi LaForge comes with his engineering kit, the little case, which I'm still trying to find one of those for my Star Trek engineering cosplay stuff. Counselor Dana Troy comes with one of the pads. Guinan is included with her crazy hat, and she comes with what is just the green drink, which that's a joke from an episode called Relics, where they had James Doohan playing Scotty, where he came back onto the Enterprise D after being stuck on a transporter for like 60 years. And he's asking Data for something to drink, and he's behind Guinan's bar and just pulls out a bottle and goes, what is this? He's like, it is green. And he's like, good enough. And just grabs it and they start drinking it. So it's a great little in-joke that she has that. And then Wesley Crusher comes with his little tractor beam project, which was a major part of the second episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, which he's wearing that that gray jumper with like the rainbow across the chest, which is awesome that he has that. But that's kind of the little joke they have from that episode. And what Steven was hinting at is if you order it through Lego, and I would recommend doing it soon. I'm hoping my wife has already done this. You get a Type 15 shuttle pod, which is the little blocky triangular front shuttle pod, but it also includes, and this is the only way to get her, the character of Ro Laren, the Bajoran helmsman and eventual Maquis person, and then eventually back into Starfleet during Picard, as the 10th person for the bridge crew.
Yeah, there's already people handing out their copium of why they can't afford it by saying, no, Q, I'm not buying it.
I kind of want Q to come in his own little mini set with his throne. Like, that would be the perfect mini set. Probably as an extra bonus purchase for another expensive ass ship.
We should have a nude Q that attaches right in front of Picard.
That'd be great. So what we've all been waiting for, like, do either of you know how much this is?
I think it was $3.99.
Okay, Chase, what about you? What do you think it is? Because it's a massive freaking Lego set. You're muted, man. You keep doing that.
Yeah. Gonna say north of 1,000.
Okay, Steven was right on. It's $399.99,
Okay.
basically $400, which I thank God you were wrong, Steven, or Chase, because I would still try and do it.
Yeah, the Chase, for example, the Death Star is 1,000.
Yes, and that
but
is
the Death Star
massive.
actually comes with, if you order it from Lego directly, a TIE fighter that once you build it, or an X-Wing, one of the two, that once you build it fits inside the Death Star. That's how big this thing is.
Word? Yeah, that is impressive. No, if Star Trek is going to do that, it would be a Dyson Sphere Lego set that you can fit the D into.
If you hear like Enterprise docking bay, you're going to be like, no, please no.
Oh, dude, if they do the Planitia shipyards with just like that framing around I would do it. God, I'm gonna spend so much money on this.
I would think they would do something like a Borg cube or something.
There's Star Trek stuff all around me, like all the freaking time. Just sitting here on my desk, I still have my Enterprise C model that I bought recently. Sitting over here to the side is the Kelvin Universe Enterprise. Like, that's just what's within reach right now. There's stuff all over all of my rooms of Star Trek things. So, yeah, I was very excited for this, and I hope to get to do it, because if I get it by the end of the year, I'll be using a good chunk of that 16 days. I want to do a time lapse of me building this thing.
It takes me, because I've built all the other ones except for I got one left, which is the Pac-Man arcade machine thing, the tabletop arcade machine. But all the other ones, I've started in the early afternoon, and I've been done at like 2 or 3 a.m. So it takes chunks.
Oh yeah, I've done some good ones. Like, I need to rebuild my my Voltron and get the couple of little parts to fix that. I still got to do my DeLorean, the Batmobile. Like, I'm building the shelves for those, and I appreciate you sent me the dimensions of these. This Enterprise is going to be a fun one though, because I need to have it where I can actually remove the saucer section but still display everything. That's going to be its own whole thing. But yeah,
I was like, I'm going to look for floating shelves to put these things up, because I have 4 cats, and cats love Legos.
And that's part of why I love my cats, but they are no pets are allowed in this room. I barely let my kids in here.
While I'm building it, they'll come up and look at the little pieces and want to swat them. I'm like, no, I need every piece. They only give you like 2 extras.
So yeah, I'm hopefully I'll have this by the end of the year, but I definitely want to get it. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Star Trek Next Generation is right there. Is my introduction to the series, but it's also one of my favorite of the series. Between that and Deep Space Nine are my big ones.
If they do the same they did with the all the Nintendo stuff, the instruction booklet it's awesome in itself, because it does like a history behind why they picked what they did.
If the instruction book is not done in LCARS, which is the design interface for, like, they started doing Next Generation and everything else, I will be so disappointed. Like, that book needs to have LCARS all over.
Well, because the Atari looked like an old Atari instruction booklet, so it's kind of neat.
I still got to open that one, and my Nintendo, actually. That would be kind of funny. All right. So enough about spending a bunch of money. Let's spend some more money. So Digital Eclipse is adding the Namco titles to the Atari 50 on November 30th for $8, $7.99 basically, via the Namco Legendary Pack. No word on if we're getting an updated physical release. I would kind of hope so, but I'm still waiting. But the titles being included for Dig Dug, we're going to get it for the 2600, the 5200, the arcade version, the Atari 7800, as well as the Atari 8-bit, which is the computer version. I'm kind of glad they're including some of those. Galaga, we're only getting it for 7800. Galaxian, we're getting 2600, 5200, and the Atari 8-bit. Pac-Man, we're getting the 2600, 5200, and Atari 8-bit again, which the 5200 and 8-bit versions are really good. 2600, play it once and go, okay, no. And then move on to something better, just so you can appreciate it more. And then lastly, ZBS, we're getting the 7800 and the arcade release for that one. This is after they already released the Wider World of Atari and the first Console War expansions that added more titles for the first one and then expanded on the competition with Mattel's Intellivision back in the day, now that Atari owns the rights to Intellivision as well. So they're just like, yeah, we can throw that in there. So, Steven, is this one you're going to pick up or?
Well, I already have the other pieces of it, so even though it's not complete, I'll add to it, like I've done, and like I pretty much believe they're probably going to do eventually with Mortal Kombat as well.
Probably. I do love, like, part of these, like, it sucks we don't have a full physical for it, but even adding this stuff in, the games I don't play as much. It's all about the museum stuff, the interviews, the behind the scene things that they put in there, this high resolution scans of documentation, the TV commercials, movie commercials.
The best way to play the games that I've done is when you do the timeline and you do all the documentary in order, and then it says this is when this released, and you play it, and then you hear them talk about it, because then when they talk about little nuances of the game, you'll be like, I just played that. So it's a good idea to do that, because I'm expecting them to really rip into Pac-Man, because a lot of those versions are ass.
The 7800 and the 5200 and the 8-bit were actually pretty good. I think they were some of the closer for the time.
I have the 2600 version, and
that one's rough. I have it too. I did not play it until way later, which probably is worse.
Isn't that which is the one that gave Pac-Man legs, feet, and buck teeth? Was that Atari 2600?
I think it was the artwork for one of them, because I remember they did give him arms and legs, and I remember seeing, because they had some of the commercials in there too.
Atari 2600 Pac-Man.
It's pretty rough, because they had songs, they had so much stuff back then. Ugh. Chase, is this something you'd be interested in at all, just for the history of Atari and stuff? It seems educational.
Yeah, might be interesting for that regard.
Yeah, he looks okay in the 2600 one. He's got he's got teeth still.
Yeah, they kind of gave everyone teeth.
He's okay. What's the one with buck teeth?
Well, the other one's the 5200 or the 8-bit. I don't remember the 8-bit box, and I think I have the 5200, which I don't believe that one had. Maybe it did have the teeth. I don't remember. It's been a while. We're going to find out in real time while Steven's looking it up.
The Atari 400, 800 box art.
Oh, well, we know why they didn't include that.
He's wearing a tank top, like he looks like a basketball player put on a bucktooth Pac-Man head, and he's eating red discs.
Oh,
while ghosts are licking their chops with outstretched hands and boots on.
I remember seeing that at one time, going, what the hell? Oh, God, that's what that was from.
Yeah, if you Google that, it'll give you nightmares. They should make a Five Nights at Freddy's with that Pac-Man.
I bet you that's probably at least mentioned or shown in this collection. They probably have the artwork for it. They just don't have the game.
Yeah, they're like, we're not that mean. Because the Atari Plus, or whatever they wanted to call it, just came out. Because some influencers, including one of my friends, got it. The yellow console Atari with the Pac-Man.
Yeah, I thought about it and was like, no, I'm good.
I bought I made sure to buy the red Atari joystick, though, because it comes actually, I should have brought that for pickups. But it comes with 2 plug adapters, so you can either go backwards and play it on like your Commodore. I think I'm going to test it,
Mm-hmm.
and your old Ataris wirelessly, or it comes with the USB wireless, so you can play it on your PC instead. So it
Oh,
even says on the box you can either go backwards in time or forward in time with depending on how you want to use your joystick. So I was like, sweet.
that's a creative way to do that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about going forward in time, something else is time traveling in a way people don't like. So let's talk about that. Grand Theft Auto 6 has been delayed again, now from May 26th, 2026 to November 19th, 2026. So about a 6-month delay there. They said, quote, "We are sorry." Sorry. Excuse me. "We are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you have come to expect and deserve. We want to thank you again for your patience and support. While the wait is a little longer, we are incredibly excited for players to experience the sprawling state of Leonardo and a return to modern day Vice City." So yeah, what's up?
I'm sure it had nothing to do with the fact that they got caught union busting and they laid off about 60 of the staff working on the game. So anybody included in that whole kerfuffle, they were like, "You're fired." So I was like, the delay can't be like that. It only got announced the same day.
Yeah. I mean, if you lose a bunch of your staff just because they want fair wages and working, being treated nicely, yeah, we'll see.
Rockstar did not have a good PR day that day.
No, the delay probably overshadowed a lot of that because I didn't see much news in regards to the layoffs. Everything was focused on, we're not getting our game in time. And that just kind of blanked everything out. So I almost wonder if they did it on purpose just to overdo that. I don't know. I've seen some people that tried to argue with me saying like, "Oh, it's being delayed because we're going to get a Switch 2 version." I'm like, I'm sorry, we're not getting this on Switch 2. Like, I don't think it would run like you would expect. It might be capable, but like, we haven't even gotten like 4 or 5 on the Switch.
Well, they're saying right now, it's not comparing the quality, obviously, but they've said with how far they've said they've been developing it for, it's eclipsing Duke Nukem Forever now.
Oh God, what was it? One of the cast from Stranger Things was like, they talked about the delay going. So we're gonna have the beginning of the show and every season is done for all 5 seasons and all this extended time done and released before this game comes out. Like, that's a long time.
Oh, and it's still PS5 and Series X, not PC.
Which is still so weird to me. But I don't know. We'll talk about how that's going to play out on this next little bit here for Xbox. So Xbox has confirmed through interview statements from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella that the upcoming new Xbox hardware will basically be a PCU attached to your display of choice. So during interviews, he was talking, he said, in this form, it would be able to run other storefronts like Steam, Epic, GOG, etc. Basically just like a Windows PC. But it's supposed to feel and act like a traditional console. So this is kind of hinting towards a more extended version of their Xbox handheld they came out with recently that had that Windows interface that's supposed to be coming to other stuff, but this is going to be much more refined around this. I think somebody even asked them like if you could run Microsoft Office on this, and they were like, "Yeah, I guess." Like, which would be just kind of weird. Like, all right, I'm done playing Halo. All right, let's go get my work done. It just feels very wrong. It will natively run titles that are currently run on Series hardware, including all of the backwards compatible titles. So everything from original Xbox that's on there, 360, all of Xbox One, all of the Series X and S games.
There it is, right there.
And this one I'm very curious about because it kind of makes sense given what they're doing, but also feels very weird. They have plans to drop the multiplayer paywall, which would be huge. Possibly making things like Game Pass only needed for the games themselves, not for online multiplayer. Which kind of makes sense because if you required it for playing Xbox titles, like, why would you buy them? Because you could just get the Steam version and play online for free. Or, if they're like, well, you can play all of it, people would just buy a PC or already have a good PC and play it for free on Steam and other things. So it would be such a weird back and forth. It kind of feels like they're going to have to drop that if they do it. because you can't have
think,
it be for some and not all.
I think with what happened with Legion Go 2 and Xbox Ally Rogue X, Xbox Ally X, Xbox,
Bless you.
a lot of people have said that they're currently planning on releasing this at quite the premium price to back up all the things it'll do.
Yeah, I could see this. I mean, because if they're wanting this to be like what they're talking about with those capabilities and playing modern games, that's gonna be a really nice PC kit. It'd have to be, especially being as compact. If they want it to be a console, that's gonna be north of $1,000, if not $2,000. Because I mean, you're basically buying a compact desktop with a high-end graphics card at that point.
And then there's like, is the graphics card and everything locked in and only the console stuff is being done by something else? All those questions and more coming in 2027.
Well, part of this came out because they had made agreements with AMD for the chipset and stuff, which is why it'll be able to play the old stuff and everything new. So they'll have a lot of the AMD graphics in there. But yeah, I don't foresee this as being that upgradable, which is also kind of a detriment compared to getting just a PC. Like, yeah, you won't be able to play the Xbox console games, but even Chase, you're probably aware of now, like in a year or two, you might be like, hey, this graphics card we got was nice, but now it's not doing as well. Okay, well, I can maybe get this new graphics card if my power supply supports it, put it in there, and that catches me up or extends the life of that build.
Oh, but they can run all these games with AI, so they can just run all the older games with AI. Problem solved.
God, I'm glad that's kind of quietly stopped for part of it. Remember when they were like, we're going to run these games with AI upscaling, and it just completely did not work.
Yeah, now Square Enix got caught in it because they handed over a port of Octopath Traveler for mobile to a company that did AI, and it had such horrible translations that they apologized and they asked the community to fix the translations in exchange for in-game credits. and they've just recently laid off most of Square Enix USA in every department.
Yeah, AI is stupid as shit, people. Figured that out. Like, AI has a use for comprehending large amounts of data and things like that. It is not made to try and do art or anything like that. It's not a creative structure, because all it does is regurgitate. And I will say that until the day I die, and nobody better make an AI version of me that says anything else.
I need to ask AI, how do I get rid of you, and see what it says.
I'm kind of curious now, like morbidly so. Because I heard that as like you saying how to get rid of me. And I was like, shit, do I need to worry about being host of this? Like, is this happening in real time? Am I being taken over? Oh, man. All right, let's go to the speed run. That's not awkward. All right, so Sony has updated the PlayStation Portal to finally allow you to stream all of your digital titles without having to have a PlayStation 5. You do have to have a PlayStation Plus premium subscription, though, in order to play these. So you have to have their highest level of subscription, which is fairly expensive. But it is kind of neat that they're actually adding that capability to the hardware. Very weird group of people that would have that level of subscription and not have a PS5 already, though. But they are also adding 3D audio support, password lock, in-game purchases, and new accessibility options as well. So, yeah, Steven, you can finally sell your PlayStation 5 and just play off your Portal, and I'm sure you'll be fine.
I'm not getting premium.
No. Plus premium.
It's $180 a year.
You'd be saving so much money by not buying a PlayStation 5.
It's only, half a Game Pass. But,
right.
It works for you because you have two people using it.
No, we each have our own subscription.
Oh, no one using it here, so it's garbage.
we each have our own subscription, Swan. So
jeez, so you do have Game Pass Ultimate. Oh, jeez.
Well, we've got Game Pass Ultimate twice, basically.
Microsoft loves you.
Well, no, we don't have. So we got one Game Pass Ultimate subscription, but then we've got two PS Plus premium subscriptions.
Once again, I'd like to point out, being in New Zealand, financially, it makes more sense to have that than to buy the games. Like, I'll give you that. Yeah. It's just expensive. But we're in the US, so we're catching up to being expensive, probably.
Yeah.
If we can even get physical titles with tariffs.
And you owe me $10, Chase,
Oh, you $10. Oh yeah, yep, I got you.
Wait, what?
for
No.
the best deal in gaming, which is Nintendo Online.
Nintendo Switch Online Family Plan.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, so you're on his account. Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter where in the world he is. I just added fucking 7 people, and I was like, let's split this shit up.
I just pay for the whole thing because I'm like, I'm going to use it. And I picked out like a friend of mine who's a teacher going like, you don't get paid enough for what you do. You're getting on here for free. I'm going to at least give you that kind of enjoyment. And then I've got some other friends on there too. Next up, Animal Crossing's 3.0 update will not require specific amiibo to access the characters and items from it for like Zelda, Splatoon, and etc. So you can use any of them as long as they're from that set. So if you want Zelda content, you can get the characters or items from any of these Zelda ones. It does have to still be a Zelda one. You still have to use a Splatoon one, but you don't have to have all of them, which is nice.
Dang, I wanted to use the Diablo one and get the loot goblin in my town.
I think you still get something, but no, that would be really funny to get the loot. I don't think they would do that, but I would love that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
God. There's a couple amiibo, like we have, what was the the Solar or whatever, the Praise the Sun dude from
Yeah.
Dark
Or if you
Souls.
scan the cereal box comes to town.
Just make him a statue you can put in the middle of your town. When you interact with him, he just does the little Praise the Sun animation. That would be great. I'd have
Then
him
the
up on like a
screen
little
turns gray
mountaintop.
and it says he died. Oh.
No, that's for the Resident Evil amiibo when it comes out next year.
Yeah.
Scan it in, you died. But it's all cute. Yeah, this next little bit is kind of a weird move by Microsoft. Microsoft is increasing the cost of Xbox dev kits from $1,500 to $2,000 each because, hey, we just want to make everyone stop making stuff for us.
What's that statement we can use every time we raise prices? Quick.
Yes.
No, they said it right there.
Greed.
Well, that too, just to bring a little back.
Yeah, what's the PR statement that we have on standby?
They stated, quote, the adjustment reflects macroeconomic developments. We remain committed to providing high quality tools and support for your development efforts. And then I said, of course, once you purchase them, layoffs and studio closures will remain a free gift to them.
So, I'm going to start calling that the Chat GPT response. Like, you didn't write that.
God. And the last little bit we had here, Chase, I'll let you cover that one.
Yeah, so currently right now the Warhammer, so World Championships of Warhammer is going on, and they had in a preview, they released a trailer for what is called Warhammer 40K 500 Worlds. Now, the only reason why I thought this even had any like bit of an intrigue to me is because of the fact that it features Captain Titus as the main character, so to speak. It's a new narrative campaign where Captain, yeah, you heard me right, Captain Titus, not Lieutenant. And he's been promoted now to Master of the Watch. Now, the reason why that's meaningful is because Master of the Watch is essentially the means that he's in charge of protecting the homelands of the Ultramar system, the homeworlds. So he's basically defending 500 worlds from what is now a awoken Necron invasion, which is kind of interesting because when we were playing Space Marine 2, at one point you go underground and you recognize that it's a Necron tomb world. So it's like all kind of foreshadowing and I guess, like I was talking about earlier, Games Workshop's really intent on things being continuous story and having continuity to stuff. So this is currently for like, so this in particular isn't like a video game or anything like that. It's for the tabletop.
Right.
But I imagine that some of this is going to transfer into Space Marine 3, which we know is getting worked on. So just a couple extra things in it. He will have, so you'll have his new miniature, but also he has a retinue with him of promoted what he calls wardens. And it was kind of interesting because 2 of the miniatures are Ultramarines, and they look quite familiar. They're actually Gadriel and Chiron from Space Marine 2, so that was kind of interesting. Anybody that's interested in the tabletop, you get 4 books. You can it'll be 4 books. One of them kind of catches you up on the story.
Oh, for sure.
One of them touches on the new detachments, because there's going to be kind of new rules around the narrative campaign. Another book actually features the narrative campaign as well. I can't remember what the 4th book touches on, but they actually all come in like this really nice. The artwork looks really nice. It's a slipcase, so there'll be a slipcase that all 4 books go in, which I think is quite nice. I might actually look into getting this, just
Of course
for
you will.
just even for like the lore, kind of like the story aspect of it. Like,
Chase, no one was surprised I'm buying this expensive ass Enterprise D. No one is surprised you're buying a
Yeah.
bunch of the Warhammer stuff. Okay, let's just we accept it. We're moving on.
Right. And so I thought this was the only reason why I thought this announcement kind of had a little bit of merit for me was just because of the Space Marine 3 potential implications for it. The other thing that I thought was funny is that when this trailer came out, everybody was like, wait a minute, Captain, what happened to Akaran, the captain from Space Marine 2? And they actually said in a quote, what did they say? They said, Space Marine jobs don't come open very often. They only come open a few different ways. But we'll touch on that next week. And so everybody's like, no, my boy Akaran's dead. But then somebody was like, watch, he comes back as a Scottish dreadnought. That'd be amazing.
A giant dreadnought with a Scottish accent would be terrifying and so funny.
I'm here for it. That'd be hard as fuck. So, yeah, needless to say, some pretty good news coming from the Warhammer front. So hopefully finding its way into Space Marine 3.
It feels like Warhammer has really picked up like popularity and stuff. I know it's been a big thing for a lot of people, but like with the success of the games, more of the stuff they're doing, like it's kind of gotten more recognition. Like, because even go ahead.
I think Space Marine 2 did a lot more for that brand than people realize.
Yeah, because I played some of the previous games from back in the day. I really enjoyed Space Marine 1, but 2, when we got into it, really helped. Because I'm not as big into the tabletop stuff, but the video game side of it and some of that is where I really get into it. And it feels they're putting a lot more time into it. And the Enterprise just fell over, if you heard something.
Foreshadowing. Be careful.
Yeah, I didn't put it over on the right spot, so it tipped over. Whoops. I'll pick it back up. Kirk will be fine.
Yeah, Space Marine 2 did a lot for the brand, did a lot for Saber. They were able to buy themselves out of Embracer Group. Like,
yeah, that's probably the only reason they're still here.
And then you had the Amazon Secret Level, which
thanks for telling me the correct timeline of that. I thought it was like a prequel or something. You're like, oh no, that's what happens right after the end of 2. And I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Yes, then you have that, and now you have this announcement. So the story's continuing, like Titus's story is continuing. Dude's gonna be chapter master one day. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. Like, that motherfucker's getting promoted. Like, he's moving up in the world.
Oh man,
can you imagine if Saber Interactive ever got the Transformers license? They already got the mannerisms of how giant hulking things walk.
Oh, I would be so happy. Oh, I would be so happy.
Warfare Cybertron remastered by Saber Interactive.
Damn it, I want that so bad. Just
be nice.
I just want their multiplayer turned back on, man. Let me play those, put them in backwards compatibility, and give me the multiplayer back.
Yeah, because they played like Team Fortress, the last one.
Well, no, it wasn't so much that it was like Team Fortress and things. Like, you had some of the class-based, but it was one of the best horde modes for how it played, where everybody would have to fight, and then you can either buy your upgrades or reloads and so forth, or you could pull the money together to buy opening doors in other areas to transform the level, which could make it more difficult but open up more things. And it was such a fun strategy when you had a good group that you could play with to try and survive through the whole waves of everything coming in on Cybertron. And it was just I miss it so much. And I have those on PC, on 360. Like, I want them on like modern consoles so bad. I would pay full price for both those Transformers, the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, and we're never going to say there was a third one. It didn't exist. Just get me those two. I will pay full price each to get those on Switch too, for God's sakes. I am that problem. All right, let's go over to the big question. Talk about another problem.
Dun dun dun.
So, talking earlier, Stephen, you were so nice to post this onto our Discord the other day while I was traveling, and I was like very confused reading this statement. But with a recent review coming to light that the new Hyrule Warriors that admits right away the reviewer doesn't feel that the genre should even exist, do you feel that this view is worth having as a site's official review rather than as an editorial? And do you feel this should have a weighted review score attached that affects the game's overall review? Stephen, I'll let you tackle this one first.
This is unfortunate because in the realm of Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and Metacritic, OpenCritic, there's review bombs, and they're usually separated by media versus customer based.
Right.
And I think this is not worth to have as an official review, as it should be edited to be to either disclose their bias.
Oh, they disclosed it.
Yeah, they disclosed it
right off the bat in italics, saying like this person doesn't think this genre should exist, so he's going to hate this game guaranteed, or something like that. Just like the guy on Polygon really hated Rock Band. Look up that review.
Oh, I remember that.
Is those should either be opinion pieces or, like you said, an editorial, or at the very least, put a disclaimer when you click on it saying like, this person has expressed their bias right off the bat. Because if influencers do that now as well, because a lot of them are sick of like, I got paid to play this game, so I'm going to talk brilliantly about it. And a lot of them are like, no, I refuse to do that anymore. You can give me the key if you want, but I'm going to be honest. And I approve of that, because there's too many people who get really excited when the new Madden comes out, and they're finally starting to change, saying this game is the same as last year. It's trash. So
right.
We need people like that, not somebody like this who's just like, I hate these games, because that's like telling me to review Steel Battalion 3. I'm not going to give it a good score. Or telling me to review anything with the word Gundam of Evangelion, however you say it.
Evangelion.
Yes, you can put this in the short so we can get the most dislikes again. Anyway.
That's the one where I can say that one correctly, apparently.
But you wouldn't give that to me either, like to review, because it's just like, I don't know the appeal. I don't know the characters. I don't know the lore. But you also wouldn't give me a Mario game, because then my review would be too long and I'd be getting off topic. You want to kind of give me something right in the middle. So this is just rough. And it's just like, maybe some people shouldn't be given certain games, especially if they're giving you like a face like they just tasted sour milk when you're like, you're going to review the new Hyrule Warriors. And they're like, can I just die instead? Yeah. So that's what this guy did, because he just hated it.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this one a little bit here. So right off the bat, I think if you're doing editorials and so forth, your opinion matters on that. You don't have, I don't want everyone to say they have to like something or not like something or whatever. But if you're putting out an official weighted score, and this person, like some of the quotes from this saying, Dynasty Warriors will be 30 years old in 2027, and we can't think of any franchise less deserving of having lasted that long. And then later on talking about like the mainland games are all set in ancient China, but none of them are actively good. It's like,
this guy is fun at parties.
Right. And like, if you don't like Dynasty Warriors type games and so forth, that's fine. But you don't have someone that absolutely like hates cars or anything to do with any racing and then give them Forza. It just doesn't fit,
And what sucks is a lot of these go into, like you said, a weighted score, which can affect people's bonuses sometimes too.
Yep. Well, I was reading about this one, like when all the reviews came out, this game was stuck at 89. This is the one review, statistically, if they got rid of it, would have given it a 90, which is a step up, which people look at. No, it's not the end of the world, because I don't believe Koei Tecmo, who helped develop this, or I know Nintendo doesn't either, put their bonuses on Metacritic, but there's a lot of them that do. And yeah, if this person had every right to say this, they could say it's the worst series ever, it doesn't need to exist, all that stuff. But you shouldn't be putting that as a review. That is an editorial, because this does not feel like you're playing it and giving your thoughts on the game. You are editorializing the hate you have for this. You know, you don't become a movie reviewer if you hate watching movies. That just doesn't make sense. So I don't think the site editorial themselves, like the editor, should have caught this and changed it. You know, giving a game a bad score is fine. There are games that have gotten terrible reviews I've had fun with. There are games that have gotten glowing reviews I don't like. It happens to everybody. But there should have already been that editor group that like saw this and went, no, you're getting off topic. You're not even focusing on the game. You're just saying, I hate this series, and giving it one of the lowest reviews of it. Like that's a personal hit. Like they joke, you know, people talk about, oh, this is a hit job. This kind of actually was. Like that's your personal bias, which belongs in an editorial. I've seen plenty of those, and I'll read them and like, okay, I understand your view of it. You don't enjoy this. That's fine. You've got your reasons. None of that goes into what this game is doing. I don't think they really even talk about like how it plays, the graphics, the combos.
Like,
Yeah,
you know,
they did talk about that.
A little bit, yeah.
As bad as it is, like I can understand the people who say when Grand Theft Auto, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom comes out and there's a sea of 10s, who's going to be the guy who gives it an 8 or 9 to get all the clicks? Because people are going to be like, why didn't this person score it that way?
Yeah,
I can
Steven,
see
like,
why people would do that. But when something is more fluctuating to get a certain medium score here, like a certain average, and one person's just like, I don't know why I was assigned to play this game. I hate this type of game. It's just like, oops is right.
And like we've joked about before, like, Steven, you hate Majora's Mask.
2 out of 10.
But I love Majora's Mask. I've had a lot of fun with it. But that's fine. We have reasons for it. But more than likely, if they were like, here's a new version of Majora's Mask coming out, and if we did reviews, I don't think I'd assign it to you. I'd be interested in your thoughts on it, but I would not give it to you to review.
I'd give you first impressions, or I'd give you
which would
what
be fine.
I see on the surface, but I'd be like, do not give me this to play with it unless they remove the worst part of the game. Okay.
I think to finish up mine before we get to Chase's, I think the idea I'm trying to get across here is I'm not against somebody not liking a game. That's fine. But if you don't like a game and you go into review and you turn out you do like it and you have legitimate reasons, or you don't like it and you have legitimate reasons for that title, that's fair. I get that. But just immediately going in and saying, I hate these games, I hate this series, kind of skews the entire thing and should not have been allowed to publish as a weighted review. I think that's just bad editorial practice, and that comes down on the website and their editors that should get just as much blame, not just the writer, because that is their beliefs. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes down to. So
it's like not like, you know, it's like somebody not liking the new Tomb Raider games because they're too long. But, you know.
All kinds of things. Chase, what about you? What are your thoughts on this one? I was very interested in your idea because I know how much you love the Dynasty Warriors series. We've had discussions, and I wanted to get the true Chase response on this one.
Yeah,
which I know will be mild, but
yeah, probably a little bit more mild. Says...
the double deuce.
Well, yeah, I probably would give him that much at least, but So I actually did, when you posted the link to it, I actually did read the whole thing because I was like,
it's totally fair.
Because, I feel like it is a little bit fair because, you know, you don't want to necessarily base the whole thing off one paragraph, but...
I mean, it's not good. That's how it started, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a little bit... I thought that was a little bold of him, but I mean, hey, in a way, like...
Bold move, Cotton. Let's
you
see
can't... Yeah, that's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. But you know what? In this age of, like... people not being transparent, dude was transparent, so I'll give him credit where credit's due. Bro was extremely transparent. But yeah, he goes on, so yeah, he kind of has that like first paragraph rant about how he just doesn't really like these types of games anyway and stuff, and then he proceeded to actually talk about the game. He said that, like the gameplay was bland and boring. He said, like he said the whole thing with the Zonai weapons he thought it was a good idea, but the problem is that you basically just end up saving them for certain encounters anyway. So it's really like, so he thought it was really dumb. And then basically, the only like good thing that he said about the game was that it's got co-op, and that he enjoyed the quote-unquote Star Fox instances. And other than that, he just hated the game, and he gave it a 4 out of 10. And I mean, yeah, it is a bit of a shame, because like I actually went on Metacritic just to see. So currently it's got a Metascore of 79 and a user score of 8.7. So it's still definitely in the very positive range. But yeah, like thing with reviews is because it kind of goes both ways, right? Because like when Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom come out, like you just get everybody just giving it 10s. It's like, well, are you giving it 10s because it's a 10 out of 10, or are you giving it 10s just because you love Zelda and like they can do no wrong?
That's a fair question. Yeah.
So that's the only problem that I like. That's the only thing that I have. And so then when somebody does give it an 8 or a 9, are they doing, and then the question is though, when somebody gives an 8 or 9, is it because they're rage baiting, which is kind of a thing of shitty YouTube culture now? Or is it because you're like, no, actually I'm going to try to give it like a, hey, this game's really good, but it does have its flaws, just like pretty much any game's going to have some sort of flaw.
Right.
To it. So it becomes a bit of a question. I do kind of, at the end of the day, though, I do kind of agree with Jeremy's point in that, yeah, the editors probably should have picked this up a bit like, yeah, we're not going to give this, like, we're not going to actually publish this one onto, because it's on Metacritic. I scrolled down and I found it. Like, it's Metro
it's
Game
weighted.
Central.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weighted, so it's like I was just like, oh man,
Who do we have to review this game? Mike the Musu hater. Let's give it to him.
I just
Is everyone else on vacation? What's going on?
Something happened, man. Like, or maybe they just forgot that it was coming out, and all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, what do we do with this? Hey, here, you take it. Fuck. It's just like, no.
He's Mikey. He hates everything.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it a million times. We'll say it again. Obviously, find those few people that you like. Oh yeah, these guys align kind of with my thought process, and then generally speaking, you should be fine.
Yeah.
If anything, like as detrimental as the review could be to some companies, especially when it comes to Metacritic and stuff, the only thing I usually get out of these is, can you tell me a gripe about it? Like, because I know somebody with rose-colored glasses probably will gloss over that.
Yeah.
So, like something like Power Wash Simulator, where everybody's just like, "This is more of you love," but all these quality of life improvements. And then I mentioned, like, actually, they force you to use soap because they make things uncleanable until you use the soap. So, there's little things like that, which I was just like, would be like a perfect part of the review if they said, oh, if I had a gripe, it would be this. Or if the guy who hated it said, furthermore, I hate it when this happens, because I enjoy that. I'll name drop them as whenever they do hardware, I love reading GameSack, because GameSack plays with every single option almost obsessively. And he'll be like, this doesn't work and this doesn't work, or the sound doesn't come out of both channels. And I'm like, Digital Foundry doesn't always even do that. They'll do frame rates and they'll do resolutions, but he goes the extra step and he does the audio, and he just says like, oh, if you turn this on, this won't work, or he tries plugging in older things into it and stuff like that. And I was just like, I appreciate that, even if you already hate it, because Retron made a TurboGrafx system.
Yes.
And it was horrible because not only did it have input lag on it, like some other game from Digital Eclipse that came out, but it had basically all these compatibility issues. And because he was the only one who talked about it, they were like, we got to fix this, because nobody told us this was an issue. Everybody else was just praising us for making a TurboGrafx machine in modern day. And it took somebody who was just like, I'm going to tear this thing apart to say, no, these things don't work. So some of it helps because, that's probably why we got an Animal Crossing update is you have enough people complain, you have enough people just fathom and try. So, if his disparaging remarks have any kind of merit of things that it can do to escape the Musu like Dynasty Warriors 1 did with, having like a storyline and stuff like that to be more epic,
Yeah.
or like you said, uh Ninja Gaiden 4 reeks of platinum, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's like, well, if somebody's actually saying that, that means maybe something is in there is could use a little tweaking or could be changed.
Right.
So I think when you get a totally horrible review out of there, maybe you'll get something useful out of it, but not when they start it with this genre shouldn't exist.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
this doesn't feel like a compelling argument. It's just like, I hate this, and now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like, once again,
I,
that's
I've known
fine.
people who
Make
don't
it an
like certain
editorial.
movies because they don't like the actor, and
The-
I'm like, do you have a reason why? Has he done something horrible in real life? And they're like, no, I just don't like his face or I don't like his voice. And I'm like, okay, that's not a valid argument here.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily. Sometimes people just don't vibe with things, man. Like it is. There's kind of a bit of. We have this weird thing where it's like, if you don't like something, you have to have a reason for it. It's like, but people might not necessarily have a reason. Maybe it's just that je ne sais quoi, as the French would say.
Yeah, but it's
It
like
just doesn't
anything else.
vibe with you.
It's like any other differing opinion. I call them hats. You can wear your hat. You can flaunt your hat as much as you want, but don't tell me not to wear your hat. To wear a hat like yours, or don't force me to wear your hat. Like I don't want that person who said this about Hyrule Warriors to basically just go around to everybody saying you really shouldn't play this game.
Yeah.
No,
Instead, he should be like, it wasn't for me, but but your opinion's your own.
Right.
I don't like it when people just take theirs and kind of just spread it like a disease, saying, don't play it, don't play it. People do that with movies and TV shows. Don't watch it. It's horrible. And it's like, well, maybe you like that movie.
To respond to what you were saying earlier, Chase, kind of an example, where people are saying like the je ne sais quoi of for games. Like, I never really liked that argument, because for anything, if you don't like it, like say I give you a meal and you just like, well, I don't like it for whatever reason. Okay, cool. Is it too salty? Is it too hot, too cold? Like, there has to be a reason in your brain of why that's not clicking. And that works the other way too. Oh, I love this meal. Cool. Why? You should tell me, oh, the flavor was great, or it smelled good, or this or that. Like, there should be a reason for either of those that are subjective, because you are reviewing something. You can kind of say, I get a weird feeling from it, but there should still be, even with the actors, like, yeah, I didn't really like this guy because the way he acts may be kind of creepy, or I don't like how his voice is trying to do this in the movie or whatever. Like, and that might just be how my brain works. There has to be a logical reason for stuff, good or bad, not just not there. It feels kind of weird.
I guess for me, it's just it's the idea that, like, somebody might say, "Oh, are you going to play this game?" And I might say, "Nah, not for me, man." And then they're like, "Well, why not?" And it's just like, "Well, what do you mean, why not?" It's just, if I'm saying it's not for me, like, then it's just,
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
And I get
fine.
that, but like, if you're trying to do a review or something, like, you should be able to actually kind of
yeah.
expand
I guess
on
this
that.
was under the proviso of, like, not necessarily in the realm of writing reviews. I know that's what the big question is about, but I'm just saying,
Right.
like, even if you're just like mates talking or something like that, sometimes, like, for instance, Swan and I have a really good example because he brought it up about the Tomb Raider thing. Swan pulled the whole lived experiences argument on it because I said, no, I'm not going to play this game. It looks, it doesn't really look like the type of game I'd want to play. And he's like, well, why not? Have you played it? How do you know it's bad then? And so then I actually sat through and I played it, and I was just like, yeah, see, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't really get any enjoyment out of it. So I was like, see, I just wasted, like, however many hours of my time.
But
doing this.
what spoke to me is when he was like, it's too long, and I was like,
Well, there's valid arguments for that. Of
Yeah.
like for
Wasted
me
my
with
time.
Dark Souls games, I've tried so many of them and they never really click with me. So some of the new Dark Souls that are coming out or Souls likes, I'm just kind of like, no, I'm not really into it. but I can.
Same with me. I
If we
agree
go
with
into
that.
detail, I can answer. There's a reason, for past experience as to why it doesn't click. But if we're just talking, I might be like, yeah, that's not one for me. But if I'm writing a review or something, I'm going to give a reason like, hey, I've tried these games.
Yeah.
This doesn't work for me.
Some things just click. As well as the fact that I like the series, I can't tell you, only Chase can, why he adores the Gungrave series. After I showed him one version of it, and he's like, "Is there any more?" It was like I gave him like the best meal of his life, and he's just like, "I need to eat more of it." And then the other way is I shared once and showed ZZZ to Chase, and I don't know if Chase can pinpoint why I liked it and why I'm still playing it and why I'm giving them money.
No, I couldn't.
Because he's not seeing
Obsession
the
and
whole
addiction.
picture.
I don't know.
He's not seeing the whole picture, the whole plot, the whole character development, any of that stuff. He's just seeing what I'm showing him at that moment in time. So he's just like, "What in the anime is this?"
Yeah, it was.
Like I'm saying, there are reasons to have different opinions, and people should have those. I think our biggest argument with this is just why this was allowed to go out as that review,
and to be
instead
fair,
of an editorial. Like,
this is not an insignificant company. I looked it up because I was like, I've never heard of these guys before. That it was in the UK though, so then again, I probably wouldn't have heard of them.
right.
But then I actually looked it up. Metro.co.uk is actually
they're big.
they're one of the largest newspapers in the UK. They're one of the largest news sources in the UK. So the fact that somehow this just went through, like somebody looked at it, was like, yeah, checks out. Put it up.
Are you guys using AI as your editorial because they don't know what the fuck they're doing?
Excuse me, sir. Can I cover the war in Gaza? No, you got to cover the war in Hyrule.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna let my anger fly.
Yeah,
God.
It was. I thought, maybe if it's like a smaller company or whatever, I could kind of see. No, this is one of the biggest newspapers in the UK. This is not an insignificant company. I was just like, wow, okay, this went through. All right, cool.
But I'm glad you kind of see why. I was like, why did this be allowed? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, no, I absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think that I agree with you in the very baseline aspect of it.
Yeah.
This person came out, guns blazing, double barrel, just said, he was dual wielded double barrels, and he just went all four at once. Said, nah, I hate this fucking series. I don't want anything to do with it. It shouldn't even exist. And I just don't understand why. Obviously, he was told he had to do this, I'm assuming, because that doesn't sound like something he'd voluntarily do.
Yeah, I can just imagine some movie reviewer in the late 70s, I hate all sci-fi movies and space movies. They're absolutely freaking terrible. So here's my review of Star Wars that just came out. Yeah. It's just well, wow.
Yeah, and like I said, though, I think that potentially there is a issue of this probably going the other way too, where some people just have the rose-colored glasses and
I agree.
Give things 10s out of 10s just because it can do no wrong in their eyes. And obviously they're not going to be like, hey, just so you know, guys, I'm not, I fucking love this series and I'm not going to say anything bad about it. So,
and
I said,
I think, well, go ahead, finish your thought, and I'll do mine.
No, that's why I just made the joke. At least the guy was transparent.
True, and so I was going to say, sometimes those views, if used correctly during these reviews, could be good. He could be like, hey, I absolutely can't stand this type of series or these type of games, but maybe I had fun with this one, and here's what I actually enjoyed. If that can be used as a viewpoint, maybe to the review. And the same with the other one. I'm a huge fan of the Zelda series. This is why I enjoyed this. This is what it did for me, or why it didn't. It goes both ways. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this guy shouldn't have been the one to write the review. This guy should have been the one that say, the person who writes the review is like, hey, let's get the viewpoint of somebody that doesn't like these types of games or whatever, and bring him in as a little snippet that you could add maybe somewhere towards the end. Or
was it EGM and GamePro used to have secondary or other reviewers that would give you different opinions.
That would have been perfect, because then you kind of have a different difference of bias, so to speak, in a way. But it's
balance it.
Yeah, but in this case, just giving it to him and being like, "Yeah, we know you hate these, but go for it, bro." This is like, he was not happy. Daddy was home. He didn't get the promotion. he got stuck with some shit job that he didn't want.
Did you come home one day and find your wife with a Muso game? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
She left me for Dynasty Warriors. Screw them forever.
Yeah, something.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think this was a fun little discussion for that. So worked out well. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap that up. Oh, it's been a fun little episode here. Not too bad, about an hour and 40 minutes, but all right. Well, if you are enjoying this, please feel free to drop us a like, share it with people, let them know about us. That kind of helps us actually grow and get the word out. Talk to us over on our Discord. We're easy to find over there at zenspath.com. But other than that, we'll go ahead and call this. So thank you again to Chase and Steven. This has been episode 195 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast, and we're out. Peace. No one's got anything? Okay. Awesome. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast by the staff at zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.